But first, Jessica Lahey became a mother and a middle school teacher the same year. That was more than 20 years ago. And since then, she has spent a lot of time thinking about what works and what doesn't when it comes to parenting. She is the author of the best-selling book, The Gift of Failure: How the Best Parents Learn to Let Go so Their Children Can Succeed. Jessica Lahey came to North Yarmouth Academy recently to talk to both students and parents, and she told us just what she means when she urges parents to give their kids the gift of failure.
What I mean by that is that kids, their brains aren't done developing, right? So as a teacher, as a middle school teacher, as a high school teacher, my job is to watch kids screw up and help support them as they learn from their mistakes. But increasingly what I was seeing from the parents is doing an end run around consequences, or making sure that nothing can go wrong in the first place so that there isn't that opportunity to learn. And that's just a lot of missed learning opportunities.
What happens if parents don't let their kids fail?
Kids don't get any comfort with that feeling of frustration. And so when kids can't get frustrated, they tend to give up. And some of the most important learning tools I have as a teacher require kids to rely on themselves, maybe take a breath, reread the instructions, rely on themselves to finish whatever the task is. And kids of highly directive and controlling parents are less likely to be able to complete tasks that are challenging for them.
A big part of the conversation with parents and kids and success and failure always revolves around grades. What do you tell parents about how to approach the grades that the kids are bringing home on their report cards?
Grades are sort of what we have, but they're a really blunt instrument when it comes to learning. It's not always the best way to capture whether or not a kid is learning, and it's not very specific, knowing what a kid does or doesn't know. So if we can bring the focus back to the process of learning, like, okay, it's a B and not an A minus, but what did you learn? What did you not learn as thoroughly? What are you going to change for next time so maybe you can do a little bit better? What are we going to take with us that's working, and what are we going to leave behind that's not?
When parents reach out to you, what's the basic question or the variation on the question that comes up the most often?
Okay, I'd love to give my kids more autonomy and help them feel more competent and be more connected to them, but grades matter, and scores matter, and college, and getting jobs, and how do I balance those two things? And my answer is usually that society as a whole is obsessed with these extrinsic motivators like grades and points and scores and all that sort of stuff. So if we as parents can put more focus on the process of learning, the process of becoming a better soccer player, a better piano player, as opposed to some illusory end goal out there, then our kids will really believe us when we say things like, that's okay that you screwed this up. What I care about is that you learned from this. Because right now they don't believe us.
Your kids are grown up now?
My kids are 25 and 21 next week.
What do you wish you'd known then that you know now?
I wish I hadn't done as much as I did for my kids. I wish I had given them more opportunities to really jump out there and screw things up and take lessons from that. I really wish that I'd given my kids the opportunity to trust themselves out in the world and feel like they could talk to people and make their voices heard. Those are the things that I really want for my kids more than anything. And I want them to be fulfilled, not just happy.
I will hand over to you the magic wand, which gives you the ability to have one wish granted with the way that kids are raised in America these days. You can change one thing. It can be huge. It can be small. What might you go for? I'm so excited when this happens. I want this to happen, that parents see the kids, hear, love, support the kids they have, rather than the kids they wish they had, or they thought they had, or they dreamed they'd have. Because when people feel seen, heard, known, and loved for who they are, they feel empowered to speak up and use their voice and argue for what they need in order to be the best possible people out in the world. It's so important for us to be known and heard and seen for who we are. As we said, Jessica Lahey visited North Yarmouth Academy to speak to students and parents. Our thanks to NYA. She does these kinds of visits frequently, and when she talks to students, she always gives them her email address and tells them to feel free to write her with their thoughts, concerns, and questions.
Again, the name of Jessica Lahey's book is The Gift of Failure. More information about her and the work in the 207 section of our app and website.